All right. Happy Friday, everybody. It is a beautiful day here in Seattle. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we have Josh Appelman with us from the Appelman Group. Josh has tons of experience from across the board, both in real estate and in regular business. Not that real estate is not regular business, but Josh has a lot of experience to give to us. He has experience in multifamily and my favorite, self-storage. So I'm sure this will be a great conversation. Josh, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me, Gabe. Excited to be on the show here and hopefully spread some nuggets around, some takeaways. A little bit about myself. Didn't start out in real estate. Real estate was not on my radar. Didn't know anything about it. Couldn't care less about real estate. I started the company, United Installs, back in 2009, just installing flooring, and started with myself, and then started with some crews, adding on additional crews, and it became much more real in 2012, 2013 when we started to scale. Implemented a CRM, and that's a customer relationship management tool. Added more crews. Eventually, over the course of 7 years, grew it to 10.5 million a year. 200 plus contractors out every day, 51 employees, wow. And 9 locations, and vans, and on and on and on. A lot of good stuff. So,
and that was all just flooring?
Just flooring. Just piggybacking off of a major home improvement company, and became really, really good at installing flooring for to scale.
Flooring is the type of contractors that I'm generally most impressed with when I watch them, because like I've installed floors myself, and I did it was probably like 400 square foot room. Took me fucking forever. It takes me hours, and then I watch professionals do it, and I had a guy do it my house a couple years ago, and they did the entire house. I think it was almost 2,000 square feet in one day, and I was just blown away. It's good floors it's amazing your guys' skill.
Yeah, they master their craft. They get in, get out, get done, and it's professionally done. And that's what we're responsible for, making sure that you had a professional installation, customer service was there, you had somebody to call into. We brought something to the industry that really wasn't known. You don't get follow-up surveys after your flooring gets installed. You don't have guys showing up with professional shirts, badges that they've been background checked, and mats down, just respecting the property. So just giving a level of service that enabled us to grow. And, we Inc. 500,000 list 5 years in a row. Very proud of that. Multiple awards. Just growing a company, created opportunities that didn't exist before, and building a team around it. That was the beginning. That was the late 20s, early 30s. And then 2019 rolled around, and a much larger company was coming into the territory. So it was essentially sell at a nominal amount, or essentially get pushed out of the territory. So one or the other was going to happen. They were changing their top tier management, so relationships were breaking, and we've seen changes. So my next venture in my eyes was going to be something that someone else cannot just come and turn light switches out. If you put your heart, effort, and energy into something, it's your baby, and you want to keep it forever. But that's what got me into real estate. That, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, a mind shift, and just take it from there.
Nice, man. Well, yeah, that is the book that gets people going. And we have people on this podcast who were in corporate, and they got to the point where they realized that they're totally dispensable, and they needed to find something more solid, and so they jumped into real estate. But it's interesting to hear from a person who had their own business, and you still kind of had that perspective that, we can, not that you're dispensable, but that competition can come from, left center, and completely take you guys out of the market. So you turned to real estate as well.
And to this day, I look at any business as if, can a light switch be turned out? Can a customer shut your business down, shut your industry down? And to me, all roads still lead back to real estate. It's just the economies of scale are there. You can feel it, touch it, see it, you can drive by it, and people have to sleep at night. It's or store their things. It's very resilient.
Yeah, and the scarcity is 100% there, because you can't make more land. So. Yeah. Interesting, and I'd love to hear your story. It sounds like you guys, what really allowed you to scale your business was your systems. You realized that a lot of mom and pop floor installation guys out there, they didn't have their systems in place, they didn't have their customer service in place, and you brought that to your company, which allowed you to scale. I'm curious, that experience of building the systems, building the brand, how did that translate once you decided to move into real estate?
Same exact format. I mean, in order to scale, you have to have systems put in place. You have to be able to manage your prospects accordingly, whether you're looking for off-market deals, whether you're your investors, your partners, you're giving updates. You've got to have an organization behind the scenes to keep everything intact so that you're not dropping balls needlessly. But the customer service piece there for our residents, our tenancy, those are our customers living in our buildings. So the better you treat the customers, your mentality and how you react to their issues that might come up will directly affect how long they want to stay with you. So the better they get treated, the more money they're essentially going to spend with you over time.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's just common sense customer courtesy at the end of the day. Treat everyone as equals.
Yep. So once you did make the switch into real estate, what were, you decided to go to real estate. I'm sure multifamily was the first thing that you looked at. What were the first few steps that you took to start building your business?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out. It was hard for me to connect the dots. What was real estate investing? What is real estate? What is a cap rate? What is NOI? What are all these things? Because again, I don't come from real estate world. I didn't understand the language. Didn't get it. So I actually put myself through a realtor class, not to get a real estate license, just to learn the industry, learn the components. And that still didn't give me what I was searching for. So then you search in YouTube, you search for podcasts. Podcasts helped me out a ton. And then even eventually a mentorship is going to help you even cross the chasm to something greater. In my first real estate investment, really, we built this 15,000 square foot office and warehouse for our business. So a lot of times these businesses are created, and the real estate behind a business is almost worth more than the business itself, and that's by accident. So I was in real estate accidentally and didn't even understand what we were even in. But my first true real estate investment was a 33 unit apartment complex, and that wasn't done by accident, and it wasn't certainly done overnight. It took me years to even be confident enough in myself to even buy that. But there was a Grant Cardone, like a Saturday boot camp or something that I went ahead and spent $1,600 on. And after that, I told the wife, I said, now I know what I need to buy. So then where focus goes, energy flows. And I think it was like a month and a half after that we put our 33 unit under contract.
Nice. I love it. And was it were you repositioning that, or was it a buy and hold? It was already in, class A, good condition.
So it's 1978 vintage. We still own it. We've completely redone everything inside and out, but it was a great price. One thing that I knew going in was the value of it because I educated myself. I knew the rent roll and cap rates. I educated knowing a good deal from a bad deal. Direct to the owner. It was just great location. Still is a great location. It's on a path of progress. The rents were low, and we went in and repositioned it through renovations and brought the rents up to where they're at market rate right now.
Nice. I love it. So you started in multifamily, but you said that you also like self-storage. That's my focus. So I love talking about self-storage. What point did you start to branch out from multifamily?
It kind of goes to where you want to focus your time at, and where you've got to treat your time like a commodity. It's only going to be there once. So self-storage enables you to put something in place, set it and forget it, in a sense, because you don't have the tenancy. The tenancy as far as toilets, tenants, termites, and all of the upkeep and the expenses are much lower. Your rents are lower, but your expenses are lower, and you don't have as much noise around a self-storage as you do on multifamily.
Yeah.
And that helps with, of course, stress levels, enabling to scale and concentrate on other things, because you still have customers in multifamily. It's not passive. If you're an operator, you're in the armpit, you need to make sure that you're taking care of the daily activities. So it doesn't get you into real estate like you want to be in real estate. When you think of real estate, when you hear us, when you hear the people out there talking passively, multifamily isn't there unless you're on a syndication as an LP, passive investor. I'm active on everything we do. It's but you can still be active plus get the benefits of a passive stream of income.
Yep. I've never done multifamily outside of I mean, we do mobile home RV, but that's not true multifamily. And I've done like, triplexes and stuff. What is the for a larger scale multifamily, what is the general like OpEx ratio that you're looking at?
I'll underwrite 50%
50? Okay.
operating expense, and we should come in lower. We do operate very efficiently. Your newer vintages, of course, should be at 38, 40 max. But we're not looking for new. We're not looking for core. We're not. We want a value add component. We want renovations to be needed because we know that we can renovate a unit much cheaper than a lot of people around us. So that's where we can add value and make money possibly on the renovations.
Yep.
So we look for those deals.
And for everybody listening, if you want to compare it to self storage, if you're talking about larger self storage, 100,000 square feet. Plus those are operating at like a 20% OpEx. The comparison when you're talking about operating expenses is so much lower in self-storage just because it's just a box you're renting out. And there's very few things that could go wrong. Even with climate control, there's a few more things that can go wrong, but not a lot. So yeah, I love self-storage, love talking about it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I think if you're wanting to add overhead, it's by choice. Adding people into the facilities and just to stand post, that's more of a choice versus a need on self-storage.
Yeah, and there's not a lot. I mean, when you talk, that's kind of the downside for self-storage is there's not a ton of value add that you can do. I generally like to look for facilities that they don't have maybe a fence, they don't have security systems, that they aren't online, they don't have the the automatic rent from the website kind of thing. But once you add those components in, there's not a ton of value add besides adding tenant protection that you could do to increase the revenue. And that I feel like that's the major downside of self storage is there's not a ton that you can do once you if you want to add value to the property.
Right. No, I totally agree. But once you're there, and it's it's economies of scale. You can add to it much faster, and your concentration can go on to other things.
Yep. So in your submission, you mentioned, the post that you gave us was getting started in real estate. I'm curious your perspective on people who are just getting started. Maybe they have a W-2 or they have their business and they're just getting started into real estate. What's the top 2 tips that you could give to those people?
Yeah, if I were doing it over, it took me a long time to really get to understanding it. If I could do it over, I would find podcasts first, like this podcast. I would find podcasts, and then I would start understanding the language of real estate investing. What does that mean? That means, what is an NOI, net operating income? What is a DSCR, and how is that in direct correlation with the debt that can be taken out? How is a cap rate in correlation with interest rate? Learning the language, understanding the language, and I think that I would go into an underwriting class. I would learn underwriting. That would accelerate your understanding for multifamily or really any investment that you're going to be. It would enable you to see a good deal from a bad deal, just underwriting itself, and learn the language along the way. And then you can also incorporate the underwriting fundamentals into any other business that you would be interested in pursuing, whether it's an oil change shop, a car wash, whatever it is. Multifamily, the fundamentals of multifamily financials can be implemented into any business, and you could actually run your business much better, more efficiently, just taking those principles from one business, from multifamily to the other one.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I really like about self-storage or real estate in general is that it's very like numbers oriented. I'm an Excel geek, and so I can really geek out on all the DSCR, all the metrics that you use to evaluate a property. And so love that aspect of it. I took a peek at the clock. It looks like we have run down the time, so it's time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Starts with books or any form of education. Doesn't have to be a book, could be a podcast or YouTube, whatever. Give me 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for business or real estate.
I would start with a mind shift book, and that would be Rich Dad Poor Dad. You've got
Mm.
to have a mind shift at some point, and the reasons why. I would start with that, and then I've got a poster hanging up on my office wall here. It's from the Four Agreements.
Oh, love
Um,
that book.
it's and I make my kids listen to it on a road trip if we take ones, because
Nice.
if they understand rule number two, don't take anything personally, they will conquer life and conquer people at their own game. So
Yep.
those two books, I think they're and there's a ton. I've the Audible app on my phone, so I listen to books wherever I go, and just education in general, knowledge and leveling up is a part of it. But those two books I'd start with.
Yeah, those are great recommendations. I love the Four Agreements. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
I haven't read it in a while, but we just had our first kid. She's
nice.
a month
Congratulations.
old, but I'm gonna do that exact same thing. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
listening to it in car rides, so it'll be fun.
yeah.
All right, next question is for your younger self. So let's go back to the Josh who was just starting his floor installation company. Go to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
My son is 9. He's going to be 10 in February, a little while, but he'll know real estate. He'll know everything about real estate. So the younger version of Josh, I look at Dean. Um, he'll know real estate to where he doesn't have to look at a business and try to figure it out. Um, he's going to take those principles exactly what I'm going to teach him. His upbringing is going to be totally different than mine.
Nice.
Um,
So the advice you'd give to your younger self is get educated sooner.
educated on real estate, the
Yeah.
the principles, because I think everything else revolves around real estate.
All right. I like that. All right. Next question is a good one for you because you started out with a non-real estate business, and this is about building businesses. The first three positions you hire form the foundation of your company. So, what were they for you, and would you do it differently if you did it again today?
You're going to have to repeat that.
The first three positions you hired in your business,
Okay.
what were they, and would you do it differently if you did it again today?
Operations, of course, accounting, bookkeeping, um, production manager. Yeah, they came in sequence. You have to have one to have the other. There's a balance with everything. You have to have outflow in order to have accounting as a problem. You have to have enough work there for systems to be created in accounting. So you've got to have production. You've got to have operations. You have to have accounting. They all go together, but you have to have one to have the other. And I think if you're creating new problems, you're heading in the right direction. Just create a problem and then learn how to solve it.
That's funny. It's a good
Yeah.
quote. If you're creating new problems, you're heading in the right direction. That's funny. Makes a lot of sense though, because that's kind of how I try to learn as much as I can before I hit the problem, but it doesn't work that way.
No.
You're doing things, you're out there getting shit done, you're running into problems, and then you fix them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, makes sense. All right, next question. It's about the US. It's a big place, a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Yeah, I really like the Midwest here. We're out of just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. We've got properties in Dayton, Ohio. We're looking at Lexington, and there's some major things happening in Columbus as well. Big things. Their growth is staggering. There's just another announcement of Microsoft, major investment with Microsoft in Columbus. So Midwest is steady Betty. It has been steady Betty for years. I'm not interested in the Sun Belt right now, of course, but once the herd shows up, to me, the market's just ruined. You're looking at best tertiary markets, which, um, the herd's there, so the brokers are there, so you're buying things at a negative leverage.
Yeah,
In real estate, and buy for cash flow. It just if you're not buying for cash flow, I don't think you're going to achieve what you're after, anyways. Because ultimately, we all want more money in the bank. That's
yeah.
ultimately the goal. That gives us freedom. It makes us feel good, gives us confidence. Buy for cash flow. Forget about appreciation. It'll come anyways. Buy right. You're buying a business.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I own two self storage in Dallas, and I've been looking for more in Dallas for a long time, and there's nothing there. It's all cap rates are just way too low. We just got one in Indianapolis, and I really like Indianapolis.
Yeah,
It's
it's a great market.
the numbers are good. It's not the metrics aren't crazy in terms of asking prices, so I
Yeah.
like that place.
Yeah.
All right, next question is about finding deals. It all starts with finding the deal. So, what's your favorite way to generate new leads?
Reaching out to realtors and brokers. They will work for you for free. They will give you pocket listings. If you build a relationship up, there's brokers and real estate agents have an A, B, and C list as well, just like a property is an A, B, or C. The better you are in with brokers and realtors, the more valuable time you spend with them, true time. They'll send you deals, and you'll be the first one that can send an offer. Once the herd shows up and it's out there on LoopNet or Crexy, I mean, the deal's already done. You know, you're buying possibly a bill at that point. And I say possibly a bill. One expense could throw you into negative.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the hard thing. Well, unless you're, I guess it depends on the size of property that you're looking for. If you're looking for the huge, the class A, 100,000 square feet plus type of property, those ones you definitely have to go through brokers. But I really like doing off market marketing for the mid to small size properties, just because I feel like there's not as many people looking for those on the brokerage side, because the commission's not as large, and so you don't there's not as much competition, and then brokers generally don't send those off as often either. So
yeah, we tried the off market. We tried with had a text messaging app integrated into a CRM, and had some VAs outside the office that were just following up. We just had no success, and you get to the 10,000 plus mark on an investment, and we had to cut the cord. Just went back to how are we buying deals? All right, let's go back to how we were actually buying deals. So
yeah, broker. You mean you spent 10,000 and you didn't get a deal?
Yeah, it was. We've had a lot of back and forth. Had a lot of I have unrealistic expectations on how much I would sell my real estate for, and everyone that we would get to that point with had the same expectations. So when you've got somebody in the middle, it helps.
That can be super frustrating when you're dealing with somebody who's just like, who's unreasonable, which makes sense. I mean, you know, everybody deserves the most that they can get for their property, but on the buyer's side, yeah. All right, next question. This is about your strengths. We're all given gifts that we uniquely provide this world. So, what is your Superman strength?
Yeah, I'd say the business acumen of running a hustle, grit, grind. No matter how much I've got in the bank or assets, I am hustling every single day to just like I've got zero. And the business acumen of knowing how to run a business that came from zero. I wasn't born with knowing how it needs to be done. It's learning it. It's getting out there. It's doing it. You can't learn the experience in a book. You have to experience things in order to grow, and you have to fail, and you have to go out and you have to get up and do it again. You have to. There's all different forms of growth, but getting out there, taking action, and doing it is how you get the experience.
Yep, couldn't have said it better myself. And failure is definitely going to come. That's the hard part about real estate or business or anything really. It's just that you're gonna have to expect that you will fail at some point, but so long as you just keep getting up, there is success for you, almost guaranteed. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but if you never give up, I feel like pretty much anything you go after will come to you.
Well, take the failure, take the VA, the marketing to direct to owners. If I didn't fail at that, I wouldn't have known that I don't ever want to do it again. It didn't work. Going in though, we were going to get all these deals. We were going to all direct to the owner at great prices, make all this money, but it just never worked out. We failed at it. So we're focusing on a different way.
You got to try it before you know it's not for you.
Right.
All right, that leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. What is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah. Send me an email at Josh@Appelman Group. It's I'm saying Appelman, it's Appelman, but it's APPELMAN group.com, or go to appelmangroup.com. It's APPELMAN group.com. Reach out and see if we can get on the phone, schedule a call, and go from there.
Right on. And you have a podcast as well, right?
Correct. Real Estate Hustlers. So of course, I believe that hustlers can be taken into many forms, including life, business, real estate, hustling, going out and getting it done. So Real Estate Hustlers is the podcast.
Cool. I love it. I'll put both those links in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out to Josh, just go ahead and click the little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description, and in there you can find those links.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on.
All right. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
All right. For everybody who's here with us today, Thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. And if you want to support the show, all we ask is you give us a like, subscribe, share. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Cool.